This episode of the Date Podcast is sponsored by Bopsy. Meet up to 6 people over mobile video. It's video speed dating. Download Bopsy in the Google Play Store or iTunes. Check out bopsy.com.
Hello, this is Emma.
This is Zorric.
We're the hosts of the Date Podcast. We're excited to do another show for you today. Have you ever been on a first date and not felt chemistry?
Yes.
Okay, well, today we're going to talk about things that you can do as a response whenever you're going on a date with someone and you don't have the warm and fuzzies over them.
Oh my gosh, I need to know that information.
Yeah. And then, so how do you feel when you receive an emoji that doesn't pertain to your conversation?
That's a hard question because there's so many emotions from these emojis that I get.
This is true. So, just like this article just talks about how we use certain emojis that maybe are not appropriate in conversations when we're dating people.
I can't wait.
I know.
Sounds good. And for our podcast, everyone out there, we're brand new. So if you can just subscribe and tell everybody about us, we're on iTunes and Google Play.
So do you remember a few weeks ago, we spoke about Blake Shelton sending out this tweet, this very encrypted tweet.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone thought it was about Miranda Lambert, his ex-wife.
Uh-huh.
Well, it turns out that it was.
Uh-oh. He had some insider information.
He did. So I love her so much. So Miranda Lambert's his ex-wife, and I just love her so much. And unfortunately, she found herself in a predicament. So she was dating someone, and then while on tour, she the rumor is that she started dating someone else in another band who happened to be married.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so there's been drama with that. So apparently that's kind of the same thing that happened between Miranda Lambert's and Blake Shelton's marriage. That's the rumor that she, cheated on him, and so then he sent out that tweet like a few weeks ago talking about karma. But you know what? I'm Team Miranda.
The karma's a biatch. You know what I'm saying? So what's the status now? Is it just are they still going?
They're together. Ooh. So she's dating this new guy. Her tour ended. Or maybe I might be still going. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, they're still on tour together, and apparently, his wife found out, and so.
To be continued, right?
Yeah, to be continued.
We'll figure it out.
I know, but drama.
I know. Lots
Blake
of drama.
Shelton, gave us something.
He did.
Yep. All right. So, Rick, when was the last time you went on a first date? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh, it's been like decades. It's been a while. Mm-hmm. So first dates they're fun.
They are. I think like the preparation for me is fun. Kind of like getting the butterflies about like meeting this person can be fun. Like it's the fun anxiety.
Yeah.
Not the overwhelming anxiety, because there is fun anxiety.
But there is lots of bad anxiety too. Sweating or nervousness and all that, right?
I think, isn't that part of the fun anxiety on a first date? No,
it's totally different. So we're different in that aspect for sure.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, I don't like sweating.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe you're right. I don't think that's the nice qualities of anxiety. But I went on a first date a few weeks ago, and I definitely relate to this article written by Lindsay Dodgson,
yeah,
from the Business Insider. I definitely relate to this because I met the person, in person. We went on a date, and I didn't feel anything, and I had no chemistry with this person. So, hey, things are going to happen, though, sometimes on first dates. Like, you're going to meet someone, and someone may not be attracted to you, or you're not going to be attracted to them automatically.
Yeah, there are a lot of variables too whenever
Yes.
whenever there's a first date because first of all, it's your own brain and your own self.
For sure.
And then second, does your own brain and your own self mesh with that other person?
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of things have to align on that first date. And if you don't feel it, I think it's, to me, I think it's very instantaneous. I think for a man it is.
Yeah.
But maybe for a woman or for a female, it's a different type of perspective. But I feel like it's kind of like it's like whenever you were in grade school and you used flashcards and then your mom wrote like 5 + 5 and she like flipped the flashcard over and you knew the answer. You're like, oh, it's 10. To me, that's what I feel like whenever I do fancy a person.
Okay.
Yeah. And if I don't know the answer, then I don't fancy the person. So to me, it's just like, it's instant.
Okay.
How about you?
It's gone both ways for me. It's gone where it's instant and then it's not. Because I think that there's I don't know. I think there's times when you kind of know someone, like from the beginning, you're like, yeah, this person's for me. And there's other times when it's like you get to know the person and then you're like, oh, I'm actually attracted to you. So I think
But that takes time, right?
It does take time.
For you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm also like that though. Like it takes time for me even with friends. I'm not going to be your friend automatically.
Yeah, you have to get to know the person.
Yes.
And I think, well, there's two parts for me. There's the instant fancying or liking, but then they have to open their mouth and communicate with me. And we need to make sure that we have like some sort of value and stuff like that. They at least have to be in this, we have to share some things.
Exactly.
In common,
yeah.
Right. It's not just physical and it's not just a feeling to me.
So Lindsay does note, or it's actually, she interviewed someone named Erica Enton, who's a relationship expert and founder of a dating site called A Little Nudge. And she just notes that there's
Does that sound kind of dirty? A little nudge. I'm just, go ahead. Go for it.
Zorric.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So she notes there's no substitute for chemistry, and like you should try to get a date within a week of matching, because otherwise like it will fizzle out. And this is something that like we've noted before, like we've read this before, and so I think it also kind of, we've spoken about this too, like, should you go for the first date or second date? And I think, again, I think that's dependent on the person. If I don't feel chemistry the first date, am I actually going to go on a second date?
Okay.
Probably not if the text conversation doesn't go well.
Yeah.
Like after the date.
Oh, so in addition to their grammar on the date, you still check their grammar during the text?
I mean, if you're telling me, hey, let's go there, I don't know which there you're using.
Oh my gosh. Again, I think every episode is there, and there, and two, and two with Emma. But okay, I see what you're saying. So they...
3 tree. No,
yeah.
I'm joking.
but I see what you're saying. So, so for you, maybe there's like a progression. So it's like hurdles that they have to match or...
Well, yes and no, but if I'm not instantly attracted to you when we're talking, like when we go on a first date, I will allow for us to have more of a text conversation to see if there's sparks coming from that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to think, okay, so I was nervous. He was nervous, and then kind of like chalk it up to that. And so allowing the first date to be.
It's just like a first run, and then it could be better the second run. So that's why you go on the second date. But I also think that chemistry, I think there's an expiration date on chemistry. I think it's finite. And I think the point that she makes about going on a date within the first week or two, I think there's momentum. It builds momentum. If you keep talking to this person for months and months and months or weeks and weeks and weeks, I feel like that fizzles out. And I feel like the time between the first message and maybe the time you meet, maybe you lost interest. And so therefore your chemistry level, whenever you guys meet each other, maybe lower.
That worked during Jane Austen's time.
Yeah.
Only because a lot of people were just in the middle of the country, or at least the upper class people were, and they were not as social as we are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think it's as effective as it is now, just because of how our culture and our like social world is set up.
Yeah. And she also says that I think the whole week thing, so you only spend a week chatting and then you meet, and you've only spent a week, and so you didn't invest a month or 2 months or 3 months of your time. So,
So it's easier for you to move on if it doesn't work out. However, like when you're in the first date, I do think that we need to be just conscious of the level of respect that we have for the other person. Just because you may not be enjoying the person, that doesn't mean that the person may not be enjoying you. And so for me, it's a turn off if the person like shuts down.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's fair to either party. Yeah.
And I think so. My motto is you can learn something from everybody. And so if there's no love interest or there's no chemistry, no spark, then it could be a networking connection, or it could be a long-term friend. Maybe they have other friends that they can hook you up with. But yeah, I would say don't shut down. Take them up, be mindful, right? Emma talks about being mindful.
Stay in the present moment.
Yeah. And don't think about, oh my gosh, let me just bail and forget this person. But be respectful.
Right.
You don't have to be a douche.
No, you don't have to be a jerk.
No.
You really don't.
You don't.
Because again, it kind of, like it's not just your time, it's the other person's time as well. And so I am, I believe in karma. I believe in you reap what you sow. And so if you're going to be a jerk to someone on a date, guess what? Somebody else will be a jerk right back to you. And it's not nice being on the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
So even when I have first dates that I'm like, get me out of here, I tell myself, no, you need to engage and you need to stay present with this person.
Correct. Because like in an interview for a job, you even though you know that the candidate is not the right fit, you still talk to them and you still engage with them and learn something from them. So I think it's the same thing. And the last part, she says, honesty is the best policy. What do you think, Emma?
I agree. I think that one of the things that they quote is, it's not ideal to blurt it out in the first 5 minutes. Totally agree with that. If at the end, when you're getting your checks, if that's when you think it's appropriate to say, hey, I really, didn't feel the spark. I didn't feel that connection. I wish you all the best. Can we split the check? Or whatever it is.
Is that how you would tell me that?
I would be like, I really appreciate you asking me out. It was very thoughtful of you, and I'm very glad that you did. However, like I'm just not feeling a spark or a connection. And I don't think it's fair that, you feel like you have to pay for the dinner. So I would really appreciate if we could split it instead.
Yeah.
And if you were to say...
I would say I've had a great time. We've had so many shots of Patron.
I don't drink tequila.
Okay. We've had so many non-tequila margaritas.
Beautiful.
Okay. But I feel like we're just at different places in our lives. Or I feel like we just don't have enough in common, or something like that. That effect. Or I'm pregnant. I guess I can't say, I'm a man, I can't say that. But yeah, just kind of lower the boom and try to be as nice as possible.
I agree. Yeah.
But here's a question. So if someone says that to you, how would you respond to that? Like they're not interested or not feeling it. What's your response to?
I appreciate you still like coming out with me tonight, and I appreciate the honesty.
So, and it's super awkward. Like the one...
Oh my gosh. Like inside, my heartbeat is going like 120 miles per hour. Like it's like, and my anxiety is like hitting the roof. My brain is like, alert, alert. Like I'm using my reptile brain at this point, like fight or flight kind of response. But outside, I'm going to be cool, calm, and collected.
It also depends if you guys have that chemistry, or let's say you like the person and then they delivered that message.
Yeah, it is a disappointment.
But if you didn't like the person, then it could be also dodge the bullet. everything's fine.
Yeah.
And I can go home and watch my Jane Austen or whatever show that I watch at home. So I think as a man, though, I think we are a little proud sometimes. And so, but we can be unemotional about it too.
Yeah. And again, you know, and we've spoken about ghosting too, and how ghosting is never like the best way to handle it. But again, like my point is, if you've set your point, this person is still like not getting the point and they're still coming after you, then I think that's when it's appropriate to ghost.
Yeah. Ghosting is never. It
shouldn't be your first option.
I think it should be never an option unless it's threatening or it's stalking status. But I also think if you can just tell them at the date if you just absolutely cannot, or maybe you had a great date and then you realize at the end that maybe the next day.
Maybe it was like tequila induced.
Maybe I had too many, too many tequila.
And like your adrenaline and dopamine were just like, yay, new experience. I'm on a date.
Or it was like a great date. He took you on an airplane ride, and how do you say no to that?
Exactly. Like, let me just take you on my plane.
You cannot say no, right? You would never say no to that.
I don't think
yeah.
That's a conversation for another time.
Is that like not a good place to pick a first date, an airplane?
Yeah, it's not for me, not for my anxiety.
That's like Bachelorette status or the TV show status.
Yeah.
So you can do it at the date, and if you have to,
you can wait until. I think it's perfectly okay to wait.
Yeah, wait until the
next day.
The next day.
Yeah.
I think what's important too is the earlier the better. So you don't want to lead anybody on. But just again, I think the takeaway here is just be honest.
Be present, be engaging. Yes, be honest. Don't be disrespectful.
Yeah. We don't need that.
It's not fun.
Yeah. We have a lot of
you don't want to be that. You don't want to be like the story that is told. Like you don't want to be that person.
Yeah. You don't want to be that hash awkward date thing on Twitter, and like they talk
Although
about
those are fun to read.
They are very fun.
Sometimes they're very cringy. Like I cringe while I'm reading them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yikes.
Good topic.
Okay. Cool deal. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the emojis.
Emojis. Emojis are cool. They're these things that mean something. And you don't have to like type out a message like smiley face, and it brings emotion to your message, right?
I'm like rolling my eyes as he's sharing this. By the way,
go ahead, go ahead. Your favorite emoji?
Do I have a favorite emoji? I don't know which one my sister. I don't know. Mostly, I send emojis to like my close friends and my family.
Okay.
And usually, it's to my sister.
Okay.
Or my mom.
Yeah.
But I think it might be the one that's like rolling with tears, laughing. I overuse that one a lot.
Tilt the side. And
tilt the side. Eyes are closed. Tears are coming out. I also like to use the princess emoji. So
because you're a princess.
Well, because they don't have a queen emoji, so I have to make do with the princess.
Rough life, Emma. Rough life. But emojis are cool. I like the smiley face, and I always send you. Well, I send a thumbs up a lot.
You do,
yeah.
And let me start off with. I think it's appropriate for us to send emojis to each other because we are friends.
Correct.
That's the key word for me. Friendship and family.
Can you expound on where are you going with this? I feel like you have a theory and a strong belief, and it's just everyone's gonna hear it and be floored.
So this article by Natalia Luzinski, she writes about the 3 most hated emojis. Well, let me say this correctly. The 3 emojis singles hate the most on dating apps.
Okay.
Because yes, if anyone were to send me these emojis, I would be like, who are you? And what makes you think you can send this to me? So
Yeah.
let me tell y'all what they are first, and then we can kind of discuss it.
Okay. Let's go.
So the first one is the eggplant emoji. So out of the 2,000 singles that were surveyed across the U.S., 75% said they hated this one the most. Then you have the peach emoji that came in second place with 49%. And then fire, 32% responded that they hated this emoji.
So if you really want to turn somebody off, send the eggplant, peach, and fire at the same time.
You will get a block from
and
me.
Then you would, in 75 plus, what's your calculator? Plus 32 plus 49. That means definitely you'll get nowhere with Emma. So please, guys, don't do that.
Oh, yeah, please don't. So my whole take on emojis. So this is a rule that I do have for myself. Like, I'll be honest about it. I don't care. So I have a rule for myself that I do not send emojis to guys that I am dating.
Is there a time limit on that?
Yes.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the relationship, or the beginning, well, I say relationship very loosely, but at the beginning of when sparks are flying or whatever, of the romance, beginning of the romance, that might be better, I do not send emojis. Because I think it takes away from the conversation.
Yeah.
And I just feel like emojis are a more personal thing that you use once you have rapport. And I don't have rapport with you. I don't know what your emojis are trying to say. But you have to remember, I'm also like, I prefer talking on the phone.
Yeah.
As well. So that just kind of adds it to it a little bit more. Because I think it just takes away from the text conversation. And then emojis kind of, just kind of bring it down a little bit more.
It does. I see where you're going because it's sort of formal at first.
Yes.
I'm sure you expect complete sentences with
I do.
punctuation.
Yep.
And when you write essays in school, you don't write emojis at the end of your essays. You don't write smiley faces.
No. I also hate work emails with smiley faces.
Oh, you do?
I do.
People send that though?
Yes, and I've had to start using, and I hate myself every time I use a happy face, but it's only because if I'm reading it, I'm like, this might convey a different tone than what I intend, and so I'll put a smiley face at the end, and like I said, I hate myself. Like, I'm gonna repeat it. I don't like it when I do that because, but again, I just want to convey the tone of voice. That's that's why I use the happy face.
But when you're bantering back and forth on Tinder or Bumble or whatever it is, I think also you can add that smiley face. But for me, I wait until the other person sends it, and then I kind of match that.
So I made fun of a coworker.
Okay.
Because she was telling me about how she was dating this guy, and she was the first one to send the emoji. And so I was making fun of her, and I joked and was also being serious at the same time and said,
yeah.
Oh, you sent the first emoji? And she just looked at me and she said, was I not supposed to do that? And I said, I never send the first emoji.
Oh my. So I guess, so what does that mean? I mean, you sent the first emoji. That means, I don't know. They're just, maybe you don't want to reveal yourself so fast.
I think that's what it is for me.
You don't want to open up too quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because again, I have to have a certain level of intimacy and rapport with you before I can do that. And I don't care if I over text you, Zorric, because we're friends.
Yeah.
If I send you 10 text messages in a row, I don't care.
Gotcha.
If I did that to someone new that I was dating, I would never do that. I would send one text.
Okay.
And wait until I receive something back.
So what if the guy's sending you a joke? It's hard,
Then write ha ha.
Oh my gosh. Why not the smiley face or the one that goes from the left to the right? I mean, that's much easier than ha ha. Ha ha, I feel like we sent that when we're very young. It's like a young thing to do. But I want to figure out why we hate the eggplant. Emma, why do we hate that?
Because of our phallic thoughts.
What do you mean?
What would Freud say?
I don't know.
Sigmund Freud.
You tell me.
Sigmund Freud would tell us that, it reminds us of a penis.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's really what it is. It's the association to the penis.
What if you were asking me a question like, what's your favorite vegetable? And I just put the eggplant in there.
I would look at it, and if I was at work, I would show it to my friend, and I would say, "Oh my gosh, is he for real?"
Oh my gosh, is penis his favorite vegetable?
Does he mean penis or does he mean eggplant? And I don't know how to respond.
Oh, and that would be, the weight would be just terrifying.
And I would probably ask, I hope that you mean the actual eggplant vegetable.
Then I would respond with, it goes great with eggplant parmesan. Right? No?
So I would be like, so it really is eggplant. That is your favorite vegetable. Okay.
That's definitely, it's not penis.
All right, then yes.
In grade school, they didn't teach us that penis was part of the vegetable family. But peaches, to me, very dirty. I mean, just...
Isn't it a butt?
It's a butt.
Okay.
It could be a lot of other things. It could be the back and the front.
Oh, so it could also be a woman's vagina.
Woman's vagina.
Okay.
So I think that's why people... I mean, I love peaches, like the literal peach. Like, I like sliced peaches. I like any peach cobbler. Mm-hmm. So I would use this. I would use the peach emoji.
Okay.
So don't hate me, 51% of the people out there.
I think that there's a difference. Like if you're maybe sending the inappropriate text, the first few messages that you're sending in the conversation, and you're like, hey, can I get a picture of and you send the peach emoji
or the eggplant. How dare you, Emma?
Gross. No. Gross. Never have I ever, will I ever want, and I think a lot of women will agree. We don't need to see eggplants.
Yeah. I think also the fire though. I think the fire is cool. Maybe it's been overused a lot, but with what if you received a fire and a penis? Oh, not a penis. Eggplant. Like my penis is on fire.
I'd be like, then you need to go see a doctor. You might have an STD. I don't know.
So, I think
the 5-year-old, no, not even the 5-year-old, the 3-year-old, and Zorric just came out.
I think the moral here is don't use the peach and the fire because that might be hemorrhoids, right? Or the front might be a yeast infection. I don't know.
No. And I think the other point about emojis that they do make in this article, and I agree with, is that you don't know what their interpretation of the emojis is going to be. Mm-hmm. Therefore, that's what makes it not the most helpful tool. Use your words. Call the person.
Okay, Emma, teacher.
Talk to them.
Are you lecturing me or are you lecturing everyone else out there? Everybody, I'm part of the audience right now because she's lecturing me. And so she also says here, there's alternatives like messaging.
Yes.
Like full words and sentences, or there are other emojis out there.
They also have the Bitmojis. And again, Bitmojis are used once you have more of a rapport with the person.
I don't like Bitmojis. I feel like those oh my gosh. We don't agree there. I've never used that before. But emojis, they're great. They've been here for a long time. And I feel like more and more, like you said, at work, people are using it. I find that I'm using this with all my friends, and it's just sometimes easier to convey a message. Or sometimes you just want to send the emoji back, and it's just fine. I mean, you can look through my conversations with my sister. Like, we have conversations with just emojis. So gotcha. So I like this topic because it's just emojis. Technology basically. So technology, these emojis have kind of immersed themselves in Tinder and Bumble, And it's just changing the way we communicate, and making it not easier to me, maybe not easier for Emma, but hey, it's fun.
It's not easy when it comes to dating. So that's what I learned. I learned that I'm happy that people agree that maybe we shouldn't use certain emojis when we're first talking to someone. Gotcha. Yeah. And being nice on first dates, even if we don't have a spark with the person. Yeah.
Be nice. Maybe when you tell them that you don't want to be with them, you can send an emoji. Just kidding. Oh my gosh. Like the devil.
You know what? I might just do that and be like, no. Yeah. And send the little ghost. All right, I'm gonna ghost you now. Bye.
Like literally,
no, I'm joking.
I'm literally ghosting you at this point. All right.
Well, thank you so much for listening today. We hope that you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions, comments, or show topics that you would like for us to discuss, please email us at hello@podcast.com, or you can follow us on @datepodcast on Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Sounds good.
Perfect.
Bye.